Hi, my name is Jackie Murray, and I'm with Ask a Tech Teacher. I'm your guide through these 32 lessons of the Structured Learning Technology curriculum. This is for fourth grade, and this is lesson 9. We have 2 weeks on internet research. This is the first, and we'll do more on that topic next week. So, pretty important by fourth grade that students understand how to effectively, safely, quickly use the internet to research topics. It's all over Common Core about using appropriate tools strategically, using technology and the internet to research topics. And so we want students to be solid in this and understand it well. Vocabulary, there are some new words that go along with this, so you might make sure as you're talking you use words like hits, limiters, extensions, so that they get used to thinking in those terms. Problems, they type the search term in the address bar instead of the search bar. It rarely matters anymore. Um, you are continuing to make presentations on problem solving board. So if a student forgot, up to you, but a nice thing you could do is let them push it back to a later date if there is time on a later date, if you have a slot open that they can fill in. If you don't, then they get to learn how you present on the fly. Very valuable skill to know how to do. So that's what they'll do today if they weren't prepared and there was no way to push it back. Okay, all hits are .coms. What do they do about that? Because maybe we want something from a university. So talk about that. Essential question is, how can I refine internet searches so I get the information I need? Very often an internet search will return millions of hits. You cannot possibly go through them all to find the best ones out there. So students have to have skills to limit those searches to more closely along the lines of what they need. So big idea, students focus research on websites that address their interests. And here we talk about how to focus that research. One note, if you're using Common Core Digital Passport, make sure that you have the logins available for them. You might do that instead of the class warm-up. You might do it as an extra at the end, an extension if students get done early. As you're going through these lessons, do remember that assessing anecdotally the students' keyboarding habits while they're typing is always a good assessment. So watch them, let them see that you are watching, taking notes, and assessing them based on what you see. Arms and elbows at side, hands on their own side of the keyboard, using their fingers, reaching by fourth grade, not that their eyes are not glued to the keyboard. They're remembering where keys are and they're going between the screen and a book rather than their hands. Okay, so you're going to do evidence board if this is the week for it. You're going to continue with problem solving board. You're going to, and then you're going to move on to internet research. Start with a discussion of safety in the digital neighborhood. If you haven't for a while, go to these videos, let them watch them and talk about that. We're going on the internet, so every time you go on the internet, you talk about how to do that safely. Okay, why do you research? Discuss website parts. Good time to discuss what these all mean. These, not a big deal. They will be later, but this extension is a big deal because that will get students to the most effective, most useful links by what that extension is. So yeah, there's 4 parts that easy to remember, and then this one is quite important. So here's some of the extensions. You can talk about those as a group as you're focusing in on extensions. And then let's see, here's an overarching review of internet search, or this one if you don't have a BrainPop membership. Either of these are fine. Here are 3 ways to limit searches to just the topics you want. Keywords, knowing enough about the topic to pick strong keywords, and quotes. So when a student needs to, if they're researching habitats of seals, then they need to know enough about that topic that they can add some limiters to seal habitats besides putting quotes around it. So discuss that, pull out some of the knowledge that they have, and then use those to limit it. If they don't get that many hits, it's not that big a deal. If they know they want to go to a government site, then adding the limiter .gov is perfectly fine. So just show them how that works. Keywords, even if the keyword is this extension up here, is a great keyword to limit the returns. Here's some steps for internet research. Then practice. Have a topic that you've gone over with the grade level team, and what are they researching, space or whatever the topic is, and then have them search into that, California missions, and then have them research that using what they have now learned about limiting hits, and see what they come up with. Okay, and then there's your exit ticket. I think, let's see if we have anything different on theirs. A visual for search bar and address bar. They have this for them in their student workbook. This is a hierarchy for the extensions, very useful for them to know. Okay, I think that's it. All right, we're good. And then next week we'll do the second half of this. All right, guys. Reach out to me on the discussion board if you have questions about this. This is one of the topics I get so many questions on, is how to effectively research and then how to make it safe and legal, especially legal. So feel free to reach out and ask questions if you have any. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.